Hey guys, welcome to the last video in this special Halloween week that we have prepared here in Nexttut for you guys. So, today we're going to be finishing the Invisible Man, so let's just get to it. Now, as I've mentioned yesterday, on yesterday's video, I'm recording this two-sided part of the project, one after the other. So I apologize that I don't have chance to take a look at the comments and see what you guys think. But we're just going to be bringing this guy into Marmoset and creating a very nice render. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, I'm going to say export textures, and there's a lot of different ways in which you can export textures. I'm gonna go with a traditional PBR metallic roughness, which is the usual one that you get by using this PBR method that we're using. We're of course gonna be exporting this to our mummy folder, which is where all of the characters are live right now. And if I just hit export right here, you're gonna see that we get vase color, emissive, height, metallic, normal, and roughness, which are exactly the maps that we need. So let's open up a Marmoset. And let's bring the objects into the scene. Now, there's another object that we're missing. Some of you are already very right in guessing that we're missing the glasses. So I'm going to bring those in just a second. First, let's import the model. So let's go to our project here. And we're, of course, going to be exporting the Invisible Map Fbx that has the proper technique, which is this one right here. And I actually have ZBrush open right here. I'm just going to go into my options here, going to the glasses, and I'm just going to say export. And we're going to export the glasses. Let's call this glasses. Let's just wait for the menu to pop out. I'm actually exporting them like really high, but that's fine. I mean, it's just the concept piece, so we should be fine. It's just going to be like super smoothed. I'm just going to import the model, and let's do the glasses. There we go. So for the glasses, you can see that they already have a color. So let's start with this ones. I definitely want the glasses to be black. So like dark glasses, but I want them to be glasses. I want you to be able to see through them. So to do that, you're going to go here into diffusion and change this to, transmission, and change this to refraction so that we actually see through the objects. Now, right now, we're not going to be seeing refraction because we're not using RTX, ray tracing, which is the one that's going to be giving us the proper techniques. Now, I also think we need to bring the roughness down. There we go. And maybe we need to increase the refractive index. Is that it? I'm not sure why we're not seeing the refraction though. Use albedo, no, do not use albedo. There we go. So do not use albedo, and now there we go. We have our refractive elements, and we can use a tint here. So I think I'm gonna go for like a dark green. I think that's gonna give a nice like contrast to the whole thing, and there we go. So now we have like proper glasses. Super important that you are using ray tracing to get the best result. If you are not using ray tracing, you're gonna get this effect, which is, I mean, not bad, but also not perfect. This is like the actual way a transmissive object like this would look. Now I'm gonna turn it off just for a second while we set up our material. This material setup, by the way, is something that we do a lot. If you have taken a chance at or if you have given a chance to our Marmoset course, you are gonna see that we go over every single way in which you can import textures into your Marmoset scene. So here I'm gonna go to the Invisible Man, and let's just start dropping the maps. Super easy, super straightforward. So the color goes in the albedo, the normal goes in the normal, of course. We're gonna get that. As you can see, very nice normal map right there. The roughness goes in the roughness, and the metallic goes in the metallic, which in this case is just a black map because there's no metallic parts anywhere. Now the important one is the height map, and that one's gonna go all the way here into displacement. So I'm gonna add a height channel for the displacement, and I'm gonna add my displacement map right here. Now you can see now we actually get a little bit more silhouette pretty much overall, and that's like really gonna make the thing look a little bit more realistic. You remember back here in ZBrush, things look way too smooth because the polygroups were very clean. Now we can of course increase the scale, which I don't want to do. I think 0.5 was fine, but we definitely need to increase the divisions or the subdivisions of our objects. I'm gonna select my object, and I'm gonna go here into subdivide, and we're gonna increase the levels here. So by adding more subdivision levels, of course, the amount of polygons that we're gonna get is gonna be or get bigger, but we should get a little bit more definition. You can see how we can get like that very nice effect. Now we're at 7 million polygons. I think 7 million might be a little bit too much. Let's keep it at 2 million polygons with a 2 level subdivision, which is still quite high. But as you can see, we get those very nice borders that would be like pretty much impossible to get just by pure sculpture. Now, Again, if we go here into ray tracing and turn this on, you're gonna see that everything's gonna look like super nice, like the material is gonna look nice. But there's one thing that we really need to add, and that's subsurface. So you guys know, and we've mentioned this before, but just to make sure everyone, especially the newcomers, if you're a newcomer into this channel, we always welcome questions and any sort of inquiry in the comments. So make sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the videos. Subsurface is this effect where you're gonna get a little bit of light going through the object, and it's kind of like a mix between a transmissive object and an opaque object, so it creates this very nice effect. And there is a little bit of subsurface in cloth, so depending on which cloth you're using, especially like this, like very thin cloths, you are going to see light going through it in certain areas. So adding a little bit of subsurface will really like sell the cloth effect here. So I'm going to go down here into transmission on the cloth material, and I'm going to change this to subsurface scattering. Now we don't have a mask, so this is going to affect the whole thing. You can see how immediately we get this like very noisy effect, and that's because the scale or the intensity of the subsurface might be a little bit too much. So let's bring the scatter depth like lower, like this, maybe a little bit higher. And this is going to make it so that light goes through the object a little bit more than what it will usually do. And yes, it's going to be really noisy at first, and it's going to be really heavy, but it's going to give us a very nice effect. I'm actually going to turn ray tracing off for just a second so that we can focus on the lights now, and then we're going to jump onto the thing. So let's take a look at some reference, because again, I've never seen the Invisible Man movie, so I don't really know what kind of like effects he would have. Or like lighting scenarios. I did see a scene, it was rolling around in my Facebook a couple of days ago, and I saw this scene right here. So this is the Invisible Man, like the original Invisible Man, and there's a scene where he's like undressing himself, and he's like literally invisible. The VFX tricks that they did back in the day were quite impressive for what they were able to achieve. This is the guy, oh my god, this is bringing back bad memories. This is the guy that scared the living crap out of me when I was a kid. Damn, it's bringing back again flashbacks. So yeah, that's the movie that I saw that I was super scared about. So I don't see a lot of like lighting scenarios, so I think we're gonna go for like a creepy light scenario. So let's look for creepy light, just like that, and see if we can have some sort of like reference. Like this is super typical, like going from the bottom, like this doesn't look half bad. Let's do creepy lightning. Creepy scary lightning. No, that's not. It's not lightning. It's lighting. I always mess up. There we go. This is kind of like what I was going for. So yeah, it seems like something like this might not be a bad idea. Coming from the bottom seems like super obvious. So let's try it out. First, we need to select a sky that kind of resembles what we're going for. HDRs usually don't have a very nice effect, but like this one doesn't look half bad. Abandoned house attic. That sounds cool to me. We're definitely gonna have no background brightness, because we want to have like a completely black background. We're definitely gonna bring the brightness down here on the scene, and I'm gonna move it around so that we don't have any like weird reflection on the glasses. I want to keep the glasses like really clean, so that looks okay. Let's bring this just a little bit up. There we go. And now let's place our first light. So I think I want to go for like that image that I saw here. Where is it? Oh, I lost it. There we go. So see this? This is a little bit. I think this is a little bit more interesting. Like this, like very sharp line coming from the side, like about here. So I'm gonna create a light here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reduce the spot angle so that we can move this over here. And let's rotate this so that we kind of like get as much of the face as possible. Maybe a little bit of a bigger spot angle. There we go. Kind of like a window. So half the glasses being added there. Not as much sharpness. Maybe a little bit more brightness. I'm gonna keep it white. I'm gonna keep this light like super white. Now I do see like a little bit of a rim light coming from the back. So let's add a rim light right about here. There we go, like super soft. I think that should be more than enough. And let's see, promo poster. Let's see if we can see it clown promo poster to see how they handle the lights, because it's always good to reference work from like very famous films and stuff, because that's the thing that's really gonna give us some nice effect. Like, ooh, this is super creepy. I like that like blue light coming from the top. Let's try that. So let's go to the top, like kind of far, and let's add another spotlight. Really soft brightness here, and let's add like this like blue color. Doesn't look half bad. I don't particularly like this like silhouette right there, so I'm gonna move this down so the light is shining like this. There we go. That's a little bit better. Maybe even increase the spot angle a little bit like that, and decrease the intensity here. So here's where things are gonna, like, you're gonna have to tweak things around and see what looks best for the composition that you're going for. Now, one thing I actually do want to do, like one thing that I would like to have, is maybe a little bit of a pose. I know this is just a head, but maybe just like moving it around or something might work nicely. Unfortunately, we can't do that right here because we can't like rig it or something. But let's see how we do on time. And if we don't go like overboard, we'll do a quick rig. So I'm gonna go and turn on ray tracing to see how things look. And look at that, that looks really nice. Like look at how nice the curvature of the elements look. Like I like that like green highlight there on the element. And here's where I would start playing around with some of the intensities. So for instance, on the first light, maybe just a little bit more intensity. There we go, just so that we can see that detail on the cloth. Because again, we have this very nice surface on the cloth, and it's giving us this very, very nice effect. One thing you can do with the lights, if you change the diameter of the lights, the shadow, it's going to be a little bit softer. So I'm going to make this shadow softer. You can see how we get this very soft shadow over here. And I'm going to do the same thing for the upper light here. So I'm going to increase the diameter so we get a soft shadow, and it's not super intense. I might increase the intensity here. That looks good. Sometimes people tend to do this mistake a little bit with horror films. I'm not an expert in horror films, but I find that people tend to like keep everything in darkness, right? Like darkness is always cool. It kind of hides things and gives this like mysterious vibe to the whole element. But the problem is also you're gonna have a lot of problems with the what's the word? With not seeing anything. Like I've seen some horror movies that I'm not scared because I can't see anything. So what am I supposed to be scared of? So sometimes having things like a really clear, really visible also make for a nice, scary composition. I think I'm gonna reduce my intensity on the displacement by 0.1 to 0.01 because I think it was a little bit too much. Maybe that's a little bit too little. So let's go 0.25. So halfway between 0.5 and 0.25 because we're getting some artifacts as well. So that's a little bit better. Because I don't particularly like those artifacts that we're getting over there, and that's just the resolution. It's the fact that we're subdividing things, but it's not enough, and we get that like weird looking effect. So I'm not super cool about this. So let's do 0.015 and see if that keeps it a little bit less intense. Yeah, that looks better. We still get a nice little silhouette here and there, and it keeps it a little bit less intense. So I know that this is gonna work. So I'm just gonna hit File, Save Scene, and let's save this as Invisible Man, and I know that the materials are properly working. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna go into Maya. I'm gonna import my glasses. Where are they? Assets, Mummy, and it's the glasses. There we go. And we're gonna rig this real quick. So I'm gonna go to the side view. Oh, let's go to the side view. I'm gonna go to rigging, and I'm gonna say one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. There we go. We're gonna grab all of the joints except for the first one, and then grab the geometry, and that's it. And I'm just gonna say rigging, a skin, and bind skin. And now let's turn on X-ray bones here, and if we move this thing around, you can see that we're gonna get this very nice effect, right? So it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna work. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take the glasses and I'm gonna snap them or parent them to the head bone. That way we only have to deal with one bind skin. And I'm gonna go to the neck here and just like give him like a inquisitive look like this. There we go. Just like that. And as you can see, the deformation that we get is not like super strong. It's not super like crazy, but there's just a little bit of a head tilt, just a little bit of a pose, and that already is gonna sell the whole concept a little bit better. So I'm gonna grab this thing, I'm gonna File, Export Selection, and I'm gonna call this Invisible Map Post. Very important that we differentiate it from the original one, because if we ever need to go back to the bakes, we're gonna have to just come back. So I'm gonna say File, export the selection as well, and this is going to be again the glasses, but in this case post. And don't worry, we don't need to do a lot of work inside of Marmoset. We don't need to re-import and stuff. We can just go to the object here and just link something different. So right now that's the invisible man. We just select the invisible man post and say open, And as you can see, instead of referencing the one that we had before, now it's referencing this one. Super simple. Same with the glasses. I'm just going to click here, reference the glasses post, and it's going to load the same material, the same, like everything that we've done before. Like every single thing is going to be right here. I think I really like this lighting scenario because now it actually looks like it has like a nose and like a mouth. And I think it adds to the whole scene. So yeah, this looks really, really cool, right? Now let's add like our typical things like a fog. I usually don't like the fog affecting my lights as much because, as you can see, we start getting this sort of like contamination there. Of course, we can play around with the opacity and stuff. I'm maybe going with the first light and just like changing the spot angle like this. I don't know, it's a little bit too much. Maybe decreasing the extra strength. Let's go back to the fog. That's one of the things I don't like about this fog. It's a little bit finicky. Like you can do very cool stuff, but it's not perfect. You're gonna have some issues. This sort of like lightning scenario that we're getting. I teach my students this in the cinematic class. This is sometimes called the double split because you're gonna have one light on one side and the other light on the other side. And you're gonna have like a very dark shadow on the very center of your character, and it creates some interesting compositions. Let's increase or decrease the distance, maybe a little bit here, a little bit over here. And now let's grab a camera. So I'm gonna go with a camera, new camera, and we need to decide what kind of focal length we want. Focal length plays a very important role. If you want like a very like non-distorted thing, like a 55 is really good. You're gonna get like a really flat render, very flattering to the character because you're not gonna get any sort of distortion. You want like a creepy one, you can go for like a 24 and then go into like this sort of like effect. Or here you're gonna see things distort quite a bit. I think for this one, a 55 might look good. So let's go for like a 55 like this. I'm not sure. I'm not too like in love with the pose. So I'm gonna grab the Invisible Man and the glasses and let's rotate them. I think I like this pose better when the shadow was like on the cheek, kind of like a Rembrandt lighting situation. There we go. So we can still have him looking at the camera slightly to the side like this, but now he's looking a little bit nicer. And let's go to the camera now, and there's a couple of things that we can change. For instance, one that's very important, or works very nicely, is the bloom. Bloom will give this sort of like magical feel to it. I don't want bloom. Sharpen is definitely gonna help. It's gonna like really punch the cloth texture. But there's the focus. Focus is super important, depth of field. So we can focus on the glasses, which are like the main part of the character, right about there. And we're not gonna have any near blur pretty much. And the far blue is gonna be very minimal. So that we just like barely blur like the part here, like the back part of the shoulders, and we get a nice effect. I don't think I like the fog, to be honest. I think the fog doesn't help, so I'm gonna get rid of it. In this case, I think this looks way stronger. There's one thing that's very cool, which is Chromatic Aberration, and that's gonna like move around certain things, and it's gonna make it look way creepier. So I'm definitely gonna push the Chromatic Aberration like up, and it's gonna look like an error on the camera, but it really helps us push this sort of like a creepy thing. Like horror movies tend to do this quite a bit. You can see the Chromatic Aberration up here on this upper part. Of course, a vignette, super useful every single time. It's just gonna like focus on our character and make sure that we are exactly going over the character like this. Grain, I don't recommend. Bloom, in this case, I don't recommend either. Contrast, we can push the contrast a little bit. I think we can like do a little bit of overkill. It kind of looks overkill to me here. Maybe a little bit more exposure since we're pushing the contrast up. And there we go. So now it looks like this sort of like found footage kind of thing, right? Like there's a lot of post effects that are making this render like a really pop out. I think the contrast is way too much though, so I'm gonna be bringing it back. So yeah, look at that. I think that looks good. Wouldn't you guys agree? I'm gonna go into the curves and I'm gonna do something that I really like doing. And in this case, you can see that there's some like blue colors on the shadows. So if we push this here, like we're gonna get some interesting contrast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 3 points right here, and I'm gonna push the shadows a little bit more to the green side like this, and the highlights a little bit more to the red side. So I'm gonna go now to the red channel, do the same thing, and then push the reds to the other side like this, and then this one like this. And that way we're gonna have this sort of like green brownish like thing going on. And you can see the difference if we change back to our like normal camera. This is what we see like normally. and this is what we see with the post-production. So as you can see, post effects and post-production are going to be super important. It's one of those things that a lot of 3D artists think that doesn't matter as much. Like, you think that you want to get your render and the render is going to be like perfect and that's it. There's a lot of magic that goes in the post-production side of things, like color correction and things like that, where things just become like super important. Now on the render, I'm gonna go into the transmission and I'm gonna increase the transmission a couple more times. That's gonna give the glass more chance to kind of like render through, and you're gonna see that this one gets a little bit lighter because it allows rays to actually like go through it and come back, and that creates like this very nice effect. Now I want to try something. It's gonna be super crazy, but let's try. I want to see what happens if I were to put like a light bulb inside of the character. So let me place a light bulb right here. I'm gonna change this to an omni light, which is like a light bulb. And I just want to see if it like makes a big difference. Let's move this thing like up here and increase the brightness. Ooh, that looks interesting, right? I think that looks cool. Because since we have the subsurface, it kind of looks like he's shining from the inside. I mean, that might create something interesting. I think maybe like I do like the effect, but I'm gonna minimize it a little bit so that we can see a little bit of shine or light going through it, and we create this sort of like ethereal kind of ghosty thing going through the inside. I know he's supposed to be invisible, but hey, maybe this doesn't look half bad. We can always go here and change the color. Like, let's say we grab like a spooky green color, like not super green, but just like semi-green, and there we go. There we go, guys. So that's it. That's how I would take one of the sculptures that we did earlier and bring him to the next level. Again, I wouldn't consider this to be a portfolio ready piece. Like, I wouldn't put this in my portfolio as my presentation letter or like my best work. But if you have like a social media, your ArtStation, your Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use, it's not a bad idea to share these things every now and then, just to let people know what you're capable of doing, so that they appreciate, like, hey, this guy's really good. Look, he did like this guy in just like an hour. It took me 30 minutes to sculpt it, and then like probably like 40 minutes in between texturing and a little bit of rendering. So in a matter of 2 hours, we were able to go from nothing to this, which speaks really good about you as an artist. So that's it, guys. With this, we finish our Halloween week. However, do not leave the video right now, because I have a mission for you. We are preparing, I've been working on the ZBrush Hard Surface Techniques premium course, and I've been pouring a lot of thought into it because there's a lot of information out there, and I want to make sure that you guys get the best out of that course. This course is going to be aimed towards beginner level students that want to learn the basics and the fundamentals to hard surface sculpting inside of ZBrush, and therefore we want to hear from you. We want to, again, in the same way as what we did with the Marmoset video, we want to know what you guys want to see. Now tomorrow we're probably going to have another video of this once we're going to be showing you some of the things that we've been working on the course. But yeah, like, we want to hear what kind of techniques you guys want to learn, because again, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different methods, but we want to make sure that we're producing content that's of interest to you. So if you guys can help us out, let us know in the comments. What kind of things are you guys working or looking forward in a hard surface ZBrush course? And also let us know, what did you think about this special week? 7 days of pure Halloween fun. I've had a blast. It's been super fun to me. We're gonna have a special video on Tuesday because it's Day of the Dead, and it's a special tradition here in Mexico, so we're gonna have something cool for that one as well. And we're gonna keep having this sort of like fun weeks every now and then, as long as there's an interesting date or celebration to celebrate. We can keep doing this sort of fun videos. We're also gonna be starting with our portfolio submissions, so make sure to stay tuned, because we're gonna be opening the link this next week, and you're gonna be able to submit things for the weekend review. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. Make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, help us out, help us grow, help us reach that 17,000 goal that we have, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye bye.